That don't work here. I'm listening to him. No, it didn't. You looked at me like no one else.
Are you good? Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am. We're live right now.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Good evening. If I get your attention, we are going to move on to our second part of our Pearland ISD Candidate Forums Position 2. Again, we are live streaming on Facebook. My name is Jim Johnson, President. We welcome our candidates have been briefed on the rules, but today is a forum where we get to hear from candidates. We are still taking questions from the audience. If you want to submit those using the QR code, we will relay those over to our moderator. But once again, we ask that all cell phones are turned off and all the hoot, hollering, clapping, cheering is done at a minimum so we can respect the live stream. And again, thank you to Wheelhouse Media for helping us live stream today, and Barry Miller Junior High for opening up their wonderful campus on a Wednesday evening. I will turn it over to our moderator, the Vice President with the Pearland Chamber, and our staff liaison to our Governmental Relations Committee, Ms. Jennifer Burby.
All right, well, good evening. We are going to get started with our Position 2 Candidate Forum. We'll begin with opening comments. We are going in the order of the ballot for this one. And so, Chris, we're going to start with you. You get 2 minutes for opening comments.
Just 2 minutes?
Just 2 minutes.
All right. So I'm Dr. Chris Shuffler. I'm a veterinarian here in Pearland. I actually own Pearland Animal Hospital. I bought it back in 2013 from a good friend of mine, Bobby Stever, and his family. And it's where I worked when I was a kid. So I grew up here. I actually live on the property that I grew up on. I work in the clinic that I grew up working in. And now I get to help take care of the schools that I attended. So very, very proud Pearlander. I am a father of 6 kids. And I know I get that a lot because you just went, did he say 6 kids? And I'm going to say, yes, he said 6. I am on 5 campuses with my children across all 4 grade bands. We hit elementary, middle, junior high, and high school. The number of Skyward emails that I get is ridiculous. I have a very broad view of this district as someone who attended here years ago, as now a father with these kids on these different campuses. I get a very interesting look. So I've kind of been on both sides of, you would say both sides of the curtain, but it's kind of a transparent curtain. We don't really do anything behind closed doors. Everything is out there for the public to see. But I get to see it from both sides of that, where as a parent, as someone who's a taxpayer in this community, as both a business owner and a property owner with our house, but also as a trustee who gets to be privy to the conversations and the board meetings and the workshops and the educational events and the emails and the texts and all the things that come across at all hours. So I can tell you that we have a fantastic school district. I'm very honored to be able to serve in this capacity. I'd like to continue to do that. I've been on your board since 2020, so this has been 6 years. Put in lots of community service by this point. We are volunteers. We don't get paid to do this, but it feels like a full-time job at times. So I would like your vote. I would like your support, and I appreciate y'all tuning in tonight.
Thank you. Azania, we'll move to you. You have 2 minutes for opening comments.
Thank you all for being here and caring so much about public education. My name is Azania Salazar, and I moved to Pearland about 10 years ago. We came here for my children. I have 3 amazing children, a high school freshman with, God be with me, this has been a year navigating high school, a 6th grader who, I'm just going to go and say hello because she just got recognized for getting an outstanding. She's at a band performance right now, so she's my little heart. And then my youngest one, who is on campus with me. I'm an educator here at Pearland ISD as well. But the reason I'm running is for my children, for my coworkers that I see in and out of the hallways every single day, and for the students that I come in contact with every single day. Standing there and seeing the amazing things that our district does on a daily basis, I personally feel like this gives me a broad view, on top of being at 3 different campuses, on top of being a parent, and navigating the art process. So we moved to Pearland initially for my oldest son. He was 5 at the time and really struggling in education, and he had just recently got diagnosed. And once we came to Pearland, we went to CJ Harris, and let me tell you something, those educators there, swooped him up, cared for him, because at every other district it was, he was a problem, he's unattentive, and let's just hold him back. That was not the welcoming arms that we received here in Pearland ISD. So I want to continue to welcome other families coming into Pearland ISD, moving in to feel the same love that me and my family in the town that we now call home, and welcome into our district. So I humbly ask for you guys vote, and thank you for coming.
Wonderful, thank you. Azania, we're going to stay with you for question 1. For each question, candidates have 90 seconds to respond, and we're going to start on district strengths. What, in your opinion, makes Pearland ISD an exceptional school district for families, and how would you work to sustain and strengthen those qualities?
So I'm going to piggyback off what I just said. So for me, in my opinion, what makes us strong is our educators, our administrators, and our community. The way that I was rallied behind and my son was rallied behind. When you feel like you are left behind, or maybe just as a parent, you have those moments to where you think sometimes what you are doing is just not enough. There is always a teacher in Pearland ISD, from then and to teachers that I see walking through the hallways every single day, that is there to uplift another parent, to uplift another student, to lift another coworker. I have seen the dedication from our parents and our educators in and outside of the classroom. I've seen principals who have such a bond with these children, and they go to softball games on the weekends. They take up their outside time to build and pour into these children, because these children is what is building Pearland proud. Because like Chris, these kids go to school here, and just because Pearland is so awesome, they come back and give back to our community, give back to businesses. And that's what I truly think makes Pearland such an amazing and strong, exceptional district for our families.
Wonderful, thank you. Chris, we'll move to you for the same question. Let me know if you'd like me to repeat it.
Oh, I don't think we need to hear it again, but thank you. You asked about families and what they're seeking. Well, every family is seeking something different. So it's a challenge because it's such a broad question to answer. But I think Pearland kind of has a little something for everybody. Our new strategic plan that we just developed, that we're using to hold our superintendent accountable, that is something that speaks to everyone's heart, I hope. So first, I think everyone would agree that we have to have safety. No one cares how good your academics are if your kids don't come home from school. And so we've made that our primary focus, is having safe campuses. We need strong academics. You don't go to school and then brag about, yeah, sure, I couldn't go on to do anything else. I didn't really learn anything. Maybe I can't read, but hey, we had a heck of a football team. So strong academics have to be up there. But the football team does matter. The baseball team does matter. The choir, the band, the arts programs, all those things. We just last night looked at the hundreds of thousands of dollars that were brought into the rodeo art program, just like our campuses here in Pearland, taking up 25% of the spots across the state. So we have some incredible extracurriculars as well. We offer incredible taxpayer value. So we are a 5-star rated transparency district where you can see all of our financials. You can ask about any of our financials. Even if you don't have kids in the district, this is your school district, and you have access to all of those things. Our best differentiator, though, is our culture, and we have a very strong culture driver, Dr. Larry Berger, our superintendent we hired a few years ago. That is his wheelhouse, and we're welcoming, we're energetic, we're responsive, and we're here for your children.
Thank you. Chris, we're going to stay with you for question 2, and this question actually comes from the audience. School districts rely on effective advocacy at both the local and state levels. As a trustee, what experience do you bring in working with local or state leaders, and how will you actively represent and advance Pearland ISD's priorities beyond the boardroom? You have 90 seconds.
Okay, so this is a question really about politics, right? Because politics affects our schools whether we want it to or not. I know it's a nonpartisan local race, but every partisan race above us has some kind of say over what happens in the school district. You have to be able to reach out and talk to people. You have to be visible in the community. You have to interact. I've been the president of the Chamber of Commerce, or I'm sorry, not the president, that's Jim's job. I was the chairman of the Chamber of Commerce at one point. I almost got to be president, but that was, we were looking at Carol's retirement at the time. I'm involved in the Lions Club. I'm involved in the North Missouri County Education Alliance. I have an outward-facing job even as a veterinarian. I see a lot of people, I meet a lot of people. A lot of local leaders, as soon as I meet them, all the way up to the state level, even the federal level, I make sure to exchange contact information. When we have a local problem, like say with funding, we don't have to go to their website and click the button to submit some random email to their staffer. I've got their cell phone number in my pocket. We send them a text, we make a phone call. We send Pearland representation to Austin every year to make sure we're interacting with the state, who really affects your school district probably more than any other entity can. So you have to be available, you have to be able to talk to people, you have to be well networked. Those are all things that I feel like I bring to the table. And if there's anyone out there that I haven't met yet, I'll be happy to meet you. I don't care which side of the aisle you fall on or who you represent. I need to talk to you because I represent this school district.
Thank you. Lasagna, we'll move to you. Would you like me to repeat the question? Okay. School districts rely on effective advocacy at both the local and state levels. As a trustee, what experience do you bring in working with local or state leaders, and how will you actively represent and advance Pearland ISD's priorities beyond the boardroom?
So advocacy is deeply personal for me because I've had to advocate for my son for the past decade and all the art processes that we've had to experience with him. So as far as advocacy with the state, I was lucky enough last year on my campaign to be invited to go to Raise Your Hand, Texas, which taught me so much. We went to Austin, and we were able to go into the Capitol, engage with our representatives, speak to them about how public education truly, like Chris said, it affects us. It affects our tax dollars, it affects our students, it affects our property taxes. So I consistently, even after the vote on vouchers, I'm reaching out to, they probably know my name by heart and they see my phone number and they're like, ignore that call, please. I reach out consistently on day-to-day things of what I feel like, hey, can we change this? Or hey, I'm thinking about, let's change a certain policy. I see that you guys are pipelining a certain policy. I'm against it, and let me tell you why. I will always stand up for what's right. I will always be available, and I'm always willing to listen. So that's my advocacy, and anything that I don't know, I am here to always learn.
Thank you, Lasagna. We're going to stay with you for this next question on fiscal responsibility. With finite resources and increasing costs, how would you prioritize funding decisions to ensure Pearland ISD continues delivering high-quality education while remaining fiscally responsible? You have 90 seconds.
So I personally feel like our district has done an amazing job at centering instruction first. I see it on a daily basis as a parent and as someone who walks our halls on a daily basis as well. Unfortunately, we have already seen these kind of issues that are happening in neighboring districts like HISD. They've continued to start closing schools and close their programs. And that's not something that, of course, any district would want. So when I'm on board, I will always advocate for solutions that are furthest from impacting our students. Identifying areas where we can streamline, and I know that's already been done, and ensuring that we are using every dollar intentionally and responsibly. So at the same time, we can't continue to ignore the bigger picture. Funding comes from the state, and adequate school funding is something that we need to continue to advocate for, and pushing back on unfunded mandates because the state loves to issue a mandate and not fund it. And these unfunded mandates continue to place additional burdens on our district. So if they're not providing the resources to back these mandates, advocacy needs to be pushing back on those as well. So being strategic, transparent, and student-centered on all of our decisions.
Thank you. Chris, we'll move over to you. Let me know if you'd like me to repeat the question.
No, I appreciate that. The product that our school district offers is teachers. It offers educators. And we have to retain educators. And they don't care what our budget is. They just want to know that they're valued. It really comes down to just a couple of levers we have to pull. We don't have any way to increase our own funding. We've maxed out local support with our Tier 2 funding, the 17 pennies that we talked about the past couple of years. In the state, every 2 years, decides to change our funding mechanisms. We never know how much money we're going to have next year. That makes it really hard to do raises reliably, because if I give a raise, that's a permanent increase in costs. And if the following year they reduce my budget, guess what? I just hamstrung the district. We've been very fiscally conscious about that. We do have some money on the reserve just for a rainy day, just in case we need a little bit of a budget deficit in order to fund raises. We are committed to getting raises every year, but unlike a lot of school districts in Texas, we have not dug ourselves into a deep financial pit that we can't get out of, because we've been very, very good stewards of your tax dollars in your school district. Culture, I already mentioned it once. Teachers will take a little bit less pay if it means they can be happy at work, if their kids aren't going to attack them, if their administrators are going to back them up, if they're not going to have to beg, steal, and borrow for every single little thing they need in their classroom. So culture is a big driver for us for recruitment and retention. But don't sell it short. We need the funding. Teachers want to be paid.
Thank you, Chris. We're going to stay with you for this next question, and I want to talk a little bit about technology in the classroom. Technology continues to play a growing role in education. How should Pearland ISD balance the use of digital tools with traditional learning methods, such as paper and pencil, to best support student outcomes? You have 90 seconds.
You said this was a audience question?
This is an audience
I
question.
remember seeing this one. I would have like jumped in my seat. Okay, so
Yes,
will you
sir.
read it one more time for me?
Absolutely. Technology continues to play a growing role in education. How should Pearland ISD balance the use of digital tools with traditional learning methods, such as paper and pencil, to best support student outcomes?
I don't know who this is, but I love you. I am they're laughing over here because they know that this is a soapbox that I will die on. I think we need technology. I do not want kids growing up to be Luddites and scared of computers and not knowing how to open one up, not knowing how to type up a resume, not knowing how to even use AI and do drafting and things like that. We need intentional use of technology for technology education. But what I find as a business owner who's hiring these kids and bringing them in as interns is they are not good with computers. They are good with apps. They cannot network a printer. All they can do is look into AI to see how do you network a printer. So I don't know that we're necessarily teaching technology the way a lot of people feel like we are. And I'll tell you this too, I watched my own kids carrying those backpacks that look like they weigh 50 pounds because they've got a computer in there in addition to books, in addition to notebooks. And it breaks my heart. And I know they're on those screens in the classroom. I know that they're on those screens when they come home. What about the kid whose mom's not home because she's pulling a double shift and he doesn't have anyone to play with because he's supposed to be in the apartment or in the house? All he can do is turn on YouTube or get on his computer or whatever else. How many hours of screen time are kids getting? And then we look at the trends with mental health, with screen time being a key differentiator for healthy kids, especially with interactive screens and apps and things that they're doing. So I think we need to be very cautious. I want to see a kid pull paper out of their bag to do their homework on the bus, not open a computer.
Thank you, Chris. Azania, we'll move to you for the same question. Let me know if you'd like me to repeat it.
So I'm going to kind of piggyback off of Chris. The keyword is balance. Technology, we can't get away from it. It has consistently evolved from even when I was in high school. We're not going to say when that was. So, but it is proven knowledge that hold on, y'all. It is proven knowledge that knowledge retention is stronger when it is pen to paper versus click, click, click on a screen. I see these kids every day. They're clicking, clicking, clicking. They are not retaining this information. They are not reading through it to get the answers, because I assure you, if I go back and ask them, hey, what did you just read? They look at me and say, oh, I don't know. I just clicked and answered it. So I truly think it is important to bring balance to it. Still have the pen and paper. Pen and paper test, I know, yes, printing paper, but it is key. Because when our students get out there, a lot of these kids, like he said, apps, a lot of children don't know how to write a resume. So I think it's important to start teaching life skills on a computer, how to fill out a resume, how to fill out a job application. Everything isn't in a phone and ready now, ready now, ready now. You click through it and then it's done. So I think teaching stability of knowing where you need to grow.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your response. We're going to stay with you though, Azania. I have another question from the audience, actually some students that are interested and want to know, what do you think about the state's new requirements for changes in the STAR testing? You have 90 seconds.
Personally, I think creating, if I'm not mistaken, is it 51 or 52 tests? That is a lot. Although it does give this overall theme of it'll be less stressful, it'll be shorter, and it'll be more benchmarks. We already have benchmarks. It's iReady. We already have other benchmarks that kids go in unaware. So I think adding to these tests, and even though you're breaking them down across the year, I don't think, for me, taking away the STAR test and adding it with these smaller, more benchmark tests would be more effective for the children.
Thank you. Chris, we'll move to you.
I kind of have two thoughts on this. So first of all, we're losing a lot of historical data. As soon as you switch the tool, how do you align it with the historical data that we have that demonstrate the trends over time? And so it's a complete reset. And every educator will tell you that 2027, we're starting everything all over. So I don't think that that's necessarily an argument to say we don't need it, but you better make a pretty darn strong argument that we do if you're going to do that. As far as my personal feelings on it, I'm no STAR fan. I feel like a lot of parents, we spend the year getting ready for the STAR, and then we spend all this time doing STAR, and then we got to deal with the effects of STAR, and it affects our funding, and it affects our ratings, and all this stuff. I'm not a huge fan of that, but I also recognize that if the state of Texas is going to say, these are the TEKs, okay, and a TEK is something that you're mandated to teach, they have to have some way of verifying that you taught it. And that is what the STAR does, is it just verifies that the students in every grade level have learned the things that they are required to learn to move on from that grade, and it also helps the school district to have metrics that we can then make decisions on. Where do we need to spend some more time and focus? Maybe 7th grade math rings a bell, it's something that we know we need to be looking at and improving. We do need some form of standardized test. Is this going to be better? Is it going to be worse? Is it going to feel just like we're testing all year? We're always getting ready for the next one? I do not know. Just like y'all, I am in the dark, but we'll see. That's all I can say is we're at the mercy of the state.
Thanks, Chris. Chris, we're going to stay with you. I have one last question, and I'll end with this scenario. Pearland ISD is awarded a one-time, no restrictions check for $10 million. How would you prioritize these funds?
I would use my superintendent superpowers and dictate. Oh, wait. So I don't get to. That's the real answer, is I don't get to decide what happens with $10 million if it comes into our budget. So school trustees have zero power in any aspect of anything. We can only act as a body corporate. So I would have to try and convince at least 3 other people to vote with me in order to allocate that anywhere. But I'll tell you what I would do. Before I even did that, I would call up Larry Berger, Dr. Berger, and just say, hey, what do we need to shore up? We already know that we're facing shortfalls every year. We're projecting deficits for the next few years. This year we did really well, but we have no idea what's going to happen with funding, and we already can foresee if funding doesn't change, we will be running deficit budgets, and we will be dipping into the piggy bank to make sure that we can give raises, we can continue to operate facilities. $10 million, though, it can go a long way to any one cause, or it can go a short way to a whole bunch of causes. I'm not operations. I would have to ask operations, say, what are your priorities? I know what some of mine would be. I do think raises are important. I couldn't, if it was a one-time purchase, one-time donation, do it as a raise. It would have to be in the form of bonuses, but making sure that we tell teachers and educators, hey, we value you. And also the guy that does the grass, and maybe the painters, and maybe the lunch ladies, like everybody. But that's a cop-out, I think that there's places where we need to make sure our buildings are running well. Let's just say we roll into the budget and we decide just like every other dollar we spend.
Thank you. Lasagna?
So for me, if it was a hypothetical situation, I would honestly choose to say that. Just like Chris said, we are forecasted to be in a deficit. And like any rainy day fund, it needs to be funded. You never know how much the state is going to fund one year to the next. So we may have to use $1 million one year, and then the next year, we don't need to use anything, but to just have an extra rainy day, $10 million can go a long way to prevent us from having to dip into that piggy bank.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, well, we're going to move into closing comments. Azania, I'm going to start with you. You have 90 seconds.
So at the end of the day, I just want to really say that this entire election is about people. It's about our students, it's about our teachers, it's about our community and the people we both seek to serve. And as a parent and an employee of the district, I have experienced our district in ways that no one else has. I plan to use this viewpoint thinking of students first, education first, community first, when I'm always committed to listening, always committed to learning everything. Things change every single day to learn, and I am committed to being available to the community that I serve. So I humbly ask for your support and ask for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Chris, you have 90 seconds.
So I know we're at the bottom of the ballot, and I can see from our attendance tonight, maybe not as well attended as some of the other forums, but I do appreciate y'all that are here. I appreciate the chamber doing this for us and getting us out in front of potential voters. The board affects your life more than anyone else you vote for. The school board takes half your taxes, okay, that go into your local school system. Your taxes come to us, your home values. You don't have good homes if you don't have a good school. The school district defines the community. You would never move somewhere if you had children where the schools were trash, because you're not going to have any kind of investment there. You're not going to have safety and security there. We have great schools in Pearland, consistently top rated. You send us your children. You do not value anything in your life more than that if you are a parent in the school district. This should be the single thing that you are the most interested in voting on. So I represent experience here in the sense of I've been on the board for 6 years, and I can tell you when you start, it doesn't matter how much research you've done, it is a steep learning curve. You have a lot to learn. I'm a professional problem solver as a veterinarian and a businessman. I have 6 children on 5 campuses. I get to see basically everything that happens in this district, and I would appreciate your support. If you're interested in knowing what I stand for, looking at my SAFER plan, getting a sign or anything, you can go to electchris.com. It's Chris with a K, so I am the only Chris with a K in the race, but I would appreciate you coming out and voting.
Thank you both very much for your time this evening. We very much appreciate you sharing your perspectives. I'm going to hand it over to Jim Johnson to close us out.
Again, thank you to both of our candidates and the 3 candidates for position 1. Let's give our moderator, Jennifer Birdie, one more round of applause. A couple quick announcements. Early voting does begin April 20th. We had some great questions come in from our audience that we might not have got to, but I promise many of those questions were asked of our candidates in their written responses, and those will be posted on our website at pearlandchamber.org in the coming days, and you can learn more about it. It is your job to get informed and know what's going on in your community. Use resources like today's nonpartisan forum to be educated on what's taking place in the election. Again, April 20th is early voting. We have already done a candidate forum for the city council contested race, as well as the mayor of Pearland races. Those live streams are already on our YouTube and social media channels. We've had over 6,500 people already view the mayor's forum, so let's get that many people excited to hear about Pearland ISD. And a little housekeeping for those watching. If your student goes to Barry Miller Junior High, ask them about their coat, because there's a whole bunch of coats when you first walk in, and we want to get those back. And water bottles, we want to get those back. That's a little bit of a joke. Thank you so much for tuning in to our live streaming, and be honest, get out there and vote, and have a good time. Thank you.